Hello, my name is Dr. Ariana Ralphie, and I work here at East Bay Pediatrics in Barrington, Rhode Island. I went to undergraduate and medical school at Brown University in Providence, and then did my pediatric training in Chicago, and then came here about 4 years ago now to East Bay Pediatrics. This office was actually opened by my mom, Dr. Bernander, and her partner, Dr. Dennison, at the time, over 35 years ago almost. So we've been here a long time. Myself only 4 years, but a lot of the other practitioners have been here a long time. So this is really a family business. East Bay Pediatrics is a pediatric practice where we take care of children from the day they're born in the hospital. We go and see them at the hospital when they're born until early 20s. We don't kick people out at 18, mostly because they make such a good relationship with us. And then for a few other factors, we keep people until they're done with higher education, especially if they're still living locally. And so we see people, 22, 23, 24 if we have to, but we see people over the whole course of their life. And so one of the best things I think about having a pediatric practice that takes care of young children through adolescence and into young adulthood is that you follow these children for years and years and years, and you get to see just so many different aspects of their life and help them through the different phases of life, which is really cool. And a lot of the people we work with, the secretaries, the medical assistants, our nurses, the staff, they know all of these families, and a lot of patients who came here as children are now having their own children coming here. So that's one of the best things I think about working here and taking care of people over decades. Part of our philosophy, I think, is to really ensure the health of the family, and so we try to really focus on parents and kids and the whole network, because obviously taking care of a child takes a village, as they say, and the village can be, sometimes it's small, but sometimes it's quite big, and so we meet grandparents and nannies and a lot of caretakers, and so really trying to make sure that everyone's health is accounted for and optimizing it, not just from a medical standpoint, but also emotional and psychological. We are fortunate in that Rhode Island is a word of mouth state, I feel, and so a lot of the people who have been hired here we've heard about or have been a friend of a friend or something, but we have a large portion of our staff comes from MTTI, which is awesome, and so we've taken students for years and years, and that has been really helpful because oftentimes those students, when they graduate, they end up coming to work here, which has been great. We just hired someone like a couple months ago like that, which is awesome. But it has been challenging, and so I think getting new staff and recruiting new staff and then keeping staff is a struggle everywhere, and so we're always excited to take students with the hope that they'd want to stay and be part of our team. I'm actually so impressed with a lot of our medical assistants, many of whom have come from MTTI, because I think being a medical assistant, you have a lot of responsibility, particularly here at East Bay. They're responsible for rooming the children, doing all the vital signs, doing the vaccinations, doing finger poke, draws, running all of our labs and tests, because we have a lot of labs that we're able to do in-house, but they need to stay organized, they need to be focused, they need to be able to multitask, and then they also need to work with screaming children all day, and so that can be really challenging. And I find it a little bit intimidating sometimes to constantly trying to vaccinate crying children and coax this 18-year-old into getting a finger poke and stuff like that, and they do such a good job. I'm never called in to help, and so I think not only are they prepared, but they also adapt really well to challenging situations, because kids are cute, but they're also tough, and sometimes they kick, and so you need to be able to read the room, navigate with the parents' help, and really work with the team that's in the room, and then get done what you need to get done. You also need to be accurate, right? And so a lot of these tests, we rely so much on the medical assistants to run tests accurately to give us important data for patients. And so they need to know, how do you run each test, which one lasts for which long, like how long does it run for, which swabs do you use, this one goes to the lab, this one we run in-house, this person's insurance only covers this type of test. There's a lot they need to remember, and they do such a good job. So when you have as a physician, when you have a good medical assistant who is on top of their stuff, it makes my job so much easier. So I rely, 100% on them for their skills. I think if you're interested in the medical field, there are so many ways that you can get involved. Obviously, I think medicine is very rewarding. I've been in this field for almost 10 years. But thinking about what your skills are, what your interests are, and then how you can utilize those in medicine is really important. So if you're interested in medical assistant, I think you need, like I mentioned before, you need to be able to multitask, you need to be organized, you need to be focused, you obviously need to be smart, but then you have such an impact on a patient's experience when they're at the office. And so if a 2-year-old comes in and is really scared because they might be getting vaccines, you're the first person they see, you're the person administering the vaccines and able to calm them down if they're crying. You're the last person they see and you're the one giving them the lollipop. Like, you have such an important role here at the office. Alternatively, say we have an 18-year-old girl coming in because she thinks something is going on and she's stressed and doesn't want to tell her parents or something. That happens all the time. And so you're the first person they see. You're the one running the tests and make sure they're done accurately. And so there's so many ways that as a medical assistant you can have a tremendous impact on these patients. And so it's not just the physician that's having the interaction with the patient. The medical assistant has a huge impact, and you're really like the open doors to the clinic or the office. And so if you're interested in it, if you feel like it's something that jives with your personality and your skills, then you should definitely get involved, because we need you and we rely on you guys.